الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى أهله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. On the necessity of accepting the ahadith reported by reliable and trustworthy narrators mentioning the attributes of Allah, a refutation against the rationalist school of thought. The pious predecessors have a distinguished methodology in affirming the matters of belief and refuting innovations. This is manifest in their books and in the narrations that have been reported from them, and this methodology is 1. Making the Quran and the authentic Sunnah the judge in every matter from among the matters of our Aqidah belief, without rejecting anything from them, both or seeking to explain anything away from them, ta'wil. 2. Taking and accepting what has been narrated from the companions and explanation of matters of the religion generally, and in the matters of Aqidah specifically. 3. Not indulging in discussions and arguing about the matters of belief in such areas for which there is no place for the intellect. 4. Not arguing with the people of innovation, sitting with them and listening to their words or presenting and explaining their adopts to others. 5. Being eager to unite the Muslims into one group and to unify their word. This is the methodology of the Salaf in establishing the Islamic Aqidah in refuting the people of innovation. As for citing the Quran as evidence that then this is a matter which is agreed upon by all those who attach themselves to Islam, save those with a rationalistic inclination. They explain away many of the ayahs which mention the attributes of Allah with other than their apparent meanings. As for this Al-Sunnah, then they carry them upon the apparent meanings and not to explain anything away from them. The Shaykh of the Mu'tazila, Al-Qadi Abdul Jabbar, said, when there are ayahs in the Quran whose apparent meaning necessitates tashbih, resembles the creation, it is obligatory to interpret them ta'wil because words can carry many meanings, whereas the proof derived by the intellect is far from carrying other possible meanings. This is the methodology of the Mu'tazila regarding the attributes of Allah. As for the Sunnah, then they carry them upon the apparent meanings and not explain anything away from them. Regarding the citation of the Sunnah as evidence, there is contention between the Ahl-Sunnah and the people of rationalist inclination. The Ahl-Sunnah use as evidence whatever has been reported from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the authentic hadith and do not reject any of them or seeks to explain them away. And this methodology is made clear in the following narrations reported from the Salaf. The Imam of the Sunnah Ahmad bin Hanbal said regarding the hadith of the Sifat, Allah's attributes, we have faith in them, we affirm them, and do not reject a single one of them if they are with the chains of narration contain reliable and trustworthy put as asanid as suha. He also said about the hadith of the ru'ya, the believers seeing of Allah on the day of judgment. They are a hadith of reliable and trustworthy narrators, a hadith suha. We have faith in them and we establish ourselves upon them. And whenever a hadith is reported from the Prophet ﷺ with good chains of narration, we have faith in it and establish ourselves upon it. Sufyan ibn Uyayna died 187 Hijriya said about the hadith of the Ruya, they are true. We report them in the manner we have heard them, from those in whom we place our trust and are pleased with. Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani died 189 Hijriya, who was asked about some of the hadith mentioning the attributes of Allah. So he said, but these hadith, the reliable and trustworthy narrators have reported them. Abu Ubaid al-Qasim bin Salam died 224 Hijriya said about some of the hadith mentioning the attributes of Allah. These hadith in our estimation are true. The trustworthy and reliable reporters have related them one from another and so on. Muhammad ibn al-Hasan al-Shaybani died 189 Hijriya. The companion of Abu Hanifa said, all the fuqaha from the east to the west are agreed upon the obligation of having faith in the Quran and the hadith which the reliable and trustworthy narrators have come with from the Messenger of Allah ﷺ in describing the Lord, the Mighty and the Majestic, without explaining them tafsir or likening them the creation, tashbih. So whoever explains anything from them today, then he has deserted from which the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were upon. But verily, they did not explain them, but they gave verdict with whatever is in the book and the Sunnah, and then they remained quiet. So whoever speaks with the saying of Jaham ibn Safwan, then he has separated from the Jama'ah, since Jaham described him Allah with nothingness. Abdullah ibn Awam said, Sharik ibn Abdullah, he died 177 Hijriya, came to us when he said, there are people who reject this hadith. Verily Allah descends to the lowest heaven. And the hadith of the vision and others similar to this hadith. So he said, indeed, the one who came with the sunnah in the prayer, the zakah and the hajj is the one who came with this hadith. And indeed we know of Allah through this hadith. This is the methodology of the Salaf. Acceptance of the authentic hadith is opposed to the weak and fabricated ones. The people of rationalist inclination opposes this methodology of the Salaf with respect to the use of prophetic sunnah as evidence, and they reject the sunnah even if it was authentic, but other than mutawatir, they take only from what their interests establish for them. As for the taking the sayings of the companions radiallahu anhum and putting them before the sayings of those who come after them, then this is due to the excellence bestowed upon them on account of their being made to witness the revelation and the era of the divine inspiration, and also on account of the purity of their minds from the misguided innovations that appeared after them, and this is besides the enjoyment of the linguistic understanding of the text of the Sharia they had, not indulging in dispute with respect to matters of belief, and making them point of open discussion as being part of the Salafus methodology, is due to their understanding and their attitude that the human intellect is incapable of knowing the unseen matters by itself independently, and that the role of the intellect is merely to understand, to follow and believe in what the revelation has come with. Its role is not to challenge and oppose, since the revelation comes as a balance, as a criterion between those opposing and varying intellects. Tanzilun min Hakimin Hamid, a revelation sent down by the all-wise, worthy of all praise. And finally, the scholars of the Salaf detest argumentation with the people of innovation and sitting with them. In fact, they forbid even the mentioning and quotation of their doubts and explaining them to the people, and this was due to the fear of the weakness of the one who quotes it, his incapability to refute it and render it fatal, as a result of which he is put to trial by it after he had heard or read it. In this there is a defense for the hearts of the Muslims and a protection for their minds and thoughts. This is an addition that is also bring a means of formulating and the innovators and the barrier against their opinions, and the arrogation is not using the books of the Salaf for evaluating the divine opinions. Among the narrations from the Salaf which make the methodology with respect to the innovators are clear are the saying of Sufyan al-Thawri that died 161 Hijriya, whoever hears an innovation, let him not inform his companions with it, so that he does not draw it into their hearts, that is, they become affected by it. Ayub as-Sakhtiyani said, died 131 Hijriya, you will not refute them with anything more severe than silence, that is, do not argue with them. Abdullah ibn Saray said, it is not the sunnah with us that the people of desire should be argued with, but the sunnah with us that we do not talk to a single one of them. Also the narration of Al-Hanbali ibn Ishaq, which has preceded on page 168. Mu'ammar said, the son of Ta'us died 104 Hijriya, was sitting, and a man from the Mu'tazila came and began to speak. Ta'us placed his fingers in his ears and said, O my son, place your fingers in your ears so that you do not hear anything of what he says. For this to speak, that is his son's. Then he said, O my son, press your fingers harder. And he never stopped saying harder until the man stopped and left. This is the methodology of the Salaf in the affirmation of and preservation of the Aqidah, and this will become clear to the one who looks in their books from the earliest to the later times.